I had a major health issues which I had to do a surgery, that was a major surgery. And we didn't had our Mediclaim, we didn't had any cash, like backup cash with us. And that time, in emergency, I had to rush to hospital. I had to do the surgery, and the next day when I woke up in ICU, I asked my husband only one thing: how did you manage the expenses? And from that day, I regret one thing in my life: why didn't I started investing from 18 years of my age? Even if I have invested 1,000 rupees per month, I would have not asked that one question to my husband. I've got my clarity of life, and this is what I want to achieve. I want to achieve this much of amount on my retirement and then stay my life happily after the retirement.
Hello, friends. We have Aishwarya today, who is an entrepreneur and has been running her successful marketing agency for quite a few years. And we are going to look at how a financial planning and advisory actually helped her in her entrepreneurial dream as well as managing her own personal finances. Welcome, Aishwarya. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much for inviting me today. So this is Aishwarya. I've been a digital strategist from past 8 years now, and I've started my entrepreneurial journey since 2 years now, and I've recently started my podcast, which is a health podcast, Digital. I also like to visit serene places. I like nature, so whenever I'm tired and wanted to take a break, I take a escape of 2 days to a nature and a good resort which is covered with nature.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Aishwarya, for introducing yourself, and really magic to see that you have this fascination towards going to a scenery places. I think we all need a break from this completely hefty life. And nowadays, definitely with the city pollution, it's always better to get a breathe which is completely not polluted at all. So great. I think at the same time, you have taken this financial planning journey in the last 2 to 3 months, and it is really interesting the transformation that we also have been able to witness in that. But let's go slightly backwards. You have started your entrepreneurial journey, and I would like to know that what are some critical things that were happening with you in terms of finances before taking this journey. What were some of the struggles that you used to have while managing your personal finances, or even your perspective about money management?
Okay, so going backwards, when I started earning at my 18 years of age, in between when I was 22 or 23, I had a major health issues which I had to do a surgery, that was a major surgery. And we didn't had our Mediclaim, we didn't had any cash, like backup cash with us. And that time, in emergency, I had to rush to hospital. I had to do the surgery, and the next day when I woke up in ICU, I asked my husband only one thing: how did you manage the expenses? So that really hit me hard. So that was a point where I realized that no, I have to at least save at least one emergency fund, or Mediclaim is so important nowadays. Anytime anything can happen.
Yeah.
So Mediclaim and insurances का importance जो है, which I realized that time very much. And from that day I regret one thing in my life: why didn't I started investing from 18 years of my age? Even if I have invested 1,000 rupees per month, I would have not asked that one question to my husband that day.
I think definitely a life-changing situation, and I'm very sure for most of us, this kind of a life-changing situation has occurred in many of our lives, and which has transformed us, which has kind of given us a hint that how money management is an extremely important part of all our life things.
Yeah.
Definitely. But moving on, you definitely conquer that situation, and now you are at a stage where you have understood the importance. But in that phase, how did you discover about spring money? How did you find that financial planning is the answer for your life goals, for your future journey in terms of money management?
Okay, so definitely after that situation, we borrowed money from somewhere, and we gave it back in like 2-3 months. But after that situation itself, I started googling in where should I invest, at least every month, SIP. That time I got to know about SIPs, FDs. Even I didn't know. I was very financially illiterate person, and FDs, and then also I don't knew that correct way to start with. 2-3 years went in that only, and then after finally 2-3 years we met through my brother,
Yeah.
and then we had a call, and then afterwards my financial journey started, and then I got a correct way to start with. So that's how I came to know about Spring Money.
No, great. I think definitely it is always better to have a roadmap. I think what financial planning does to you is that it creates that methodical way of how you can conquer all these struggles that we have had with money. And really beautiful that you took that plunge. You have taken the first right step. I think kal kare so aaj kare so ab, which we have eventually come down to that, and it is a fantastic step.
Even in between of those 2-3 years, I had some people who connected with me who do things, financial planning for you, on commission basis, but that I didn't feel right that way to do, because then it is a risk for us also. So that's why I didn't invest it again for 2-3 years knowing the risk. But Mediclaim was the first thing that we did after that situation.
No, I think you touched upon a great point, because whenever there is a vested interest, we don't feel that much trustworthy. We can't, and money is such an important aspect of our life. It is as good as our health, because as you rightly said, even for health now you need money, right? For a good health you need money, and in that aspect it is extremely essential to have someone who is unbiased, whom you can completely trust. And that is where I think when we also touched upon that these are the SEBI registered people, they charge you only fees, they do not take any commission. That kind of, I'm sure you must have felt a lot more trust, so that you can share your data, you can share all those things while doing the financial.
Yeah, in like very first call with you was very comforting, and the finance planning, finance things which you explained me was very natural, and I felt a connect, and I felt okay, let's start this.
No, superb. I think when you started, it was very evident that this is coming from a very experience that you have had. So we are very fortunate that we are able to bring you from that maybe a slightly lower confidence journey towards a very high confidence now. But I'm very sure in that entire journey of you getting the financial planner, you talking to an advisor, till you get the final financial plan, what were some of the insights, or what were some of the personalized things that you discovered on your personal habits? What has changed in you in that journey?
Okay, so firstly, like it was very overwhelming filling all the details, but now after filling that details, I have my own financial document ready with me, which is a very good thing. Anytime I can go in the document and I can check about my finances. Secondly, they asked me about my goals. Till that day, I didn't had any significant goals which I had to achieve other than my business. Nothing else. Just I wanted to invest in one property. It was a land. I just wanted to invest it as like an investment, so that I can get a good amount of money after 10 years or something. That's why I wanted to invest in the land. But what they said me changed my whole perspective about it. They said me that the real estate value nowadays is not as great which we used to get 10 years back. So it is better to invest in mutual funds. If you are only planning for investment purpose, let's do the mutual funds thing, and this will give you this percentage of returns, which was very satisfying reply from him. And then we changed our goals, and I added few goals which I planned that day. So it was also a personal, I set my personal goals too that day. So it's not only financial goals but also personal goals now. So these are some perspectives. Also, before starting this podcast, we discussed we realized that there are a lot of things that can be improved, because we saw it on the document that we are spending a lot, like really a lot, which either can be saved on our, like taking an example of a restaurant. When the maid is not there, we used to let's go out, even if unnecessarily we used to go out. But nowadays our perspective is like, if we are home, let's cook something together and we'll have something. It's not always necessary to go out unless and until you are very much tired and very much overwhelmed by the work. So these are some few things that I remember and which feels also good.
Yes. No, actually, fantastic thing that you touched upon, because this is a typical behavioral change, which is going to last for the next entirety future, and that is, I think, going to create a lot of wealth. Because every small, as we all say, 1% improvement even every day can take you such a great height. So I think that is a fantastic thing that you shared. And with that, surely when you had that plan, and as you said, that now you have a document, now you have clarity in terms of what you really want to achieve, and once you see that clarity, it helps you to basically curtail some of your unnecessary spends. Definitely on necessary things you have to spend, but I'm very sure that must have enhanced your confidence to look at that I can achieve so much. So how has that shifted in your mindset, in your perspective, that I'm very sure you must be looking at money now as the tool to achieve some of your personal goals also. So how has that transformation happened?
Yeah, so I'm being feeling confident like very much, because whenever I used to spend my whole, when I used to earn salary, I didn't had any money left in my account at the month end, which I'm sure everyone also feels it. But nowadays, what happens is, if I correctly invest in proper way, correct direction, I can see that okay, this much amount is invested somewhere, and that gives me a satisfaction. That gives me a confidence that okay, it actually motivates me to work harder. So if I can see that amount clearly, then I'm okay, fine. I have to work harder. I have to increase that investment. I have to increase that investment. So it gives me confidence. I feel motivated. I feel working like more. I feel like investing in more businesses and doing a lot of things in my life. So that has transformed my life actually.
No, it's a great perspective, and I think as you touched upon in the last thing, that instead of thinking about the land, now you can think about multiple asset classes, which are more liquid, which are maybe more appropriate for your personal goals, which are appropriate for the recent times, because we are typically bogged by some perspectives of the yester era, maybe some things that parents have passed on to us, or sometimes even we are getting influenced by so many influencers out there. We are all consuming a lot of digital content, but at the same time, I'm very sure that it is extremely important to have someone who is accredited, who is unbiased at your side, who can tell you that this is the right thing for you rather than some generic stuff. So what do you have to say about the digital consumption today, and how can you guide someone today who is at the age of 18 maybe, where you were some years back, and how should they look at this entire phenomenon of the knowledge on the internet versus having someone who is accredited and unbiased at your side?
Okay, so to start with, actually, there are people of 20 years, 25 years who have their parents doing well in their life, who can guide them. So in my case, I didn't had anyone actually to guide me from very start, and which because of which that situation rose. So I would suggest even the parents to guide them from the age they are starting with, to at least approach any professional if they are not the ones who can give the correct guidance. Approach anyone who is really unbiased, like Spring Money. They give really best financial advice, I would say, and which has transformed my life. So even if you're earning from 20 years of age, at least 1% if you can invest, you should definitely invest, so that any kind of any situation can come anytime. So just be prepared for it, and also that money is helpful for you after, when you're 30s, 35s, when you want to do some kind of business, or no one can do their IT job till 60s, to be very honest. I'm not the person who can do the job for so many years. So just that investment can transform your life. It is not only a financial guidance, but that really transforms your life. So that's what the guidance I would give to the.
No, it's a beautiful perspective, I think. It actually pushes the parents, and that is, I think, a new norm of parenthood, where parents should understand that if they want their kids to be prepared for this new age, new life, this is one of the key aspects, that they should push their kids towards either acquiring that knowledge or getting the right advice, so that maybe their kids can follow their dreams at the certain age, which you are definitely doing right now.
But nowadays I feel the Gen Zs are really very much sensible and they know what they want to achieve in future. So definitely, even they are that much sensible that they will approach someone who is accredited, someone who can trust, who they can trust. So I guess, yeah, so this generation is quite sensible, right?
No, absolutely right. And I think for them also it makes lot of sense that from the early age, if they can start investing, if they can understand their money habits, if they can start changing those, I think compounding is kind of a eighth wonder that we all talk about. So kal kare so aaj kare so ab, why don't you start very early? No, fabulous, I think, in that. Moving on, when you saw that final financial plan, I'm very sure that must have enhanced your confidence, right? But very important thing is you are in this era where you are an entrepreneur yourself, right? And when you look at that financial plan yourself, as well as looking at the future with family and all of those things, what are a couple of key insights which you have now gathered, but you would like to tell to the younger generation or for anyone about money management? As you touched upon, I think you should have a health insurance, you should definitely start investing, but anything that sounds or anything that clearly tells you that you have experience in this journey which should be beneficial for everyone else.
So this journey has taught me that I didn't really was very much, I want this, like I previously mentioned. But this journey has told me that I have to take care of my old parents by taking their insurance. I have to start my family in future. So I have to invest for that, for my kids, for my pregnancy, for my kids' education, and then afterwards for my retirement. So this is now very much, I've got my clarity of life, and this is what I want to achieve. I want to achieve this much of amount on my retirement and then stay my life happily after the retirement. This is what I am very focused on right now, which as a goal, I'm looking at as a goal for right now. And I want to retire at early age of my this thing, so that I can, spend time with my family, which I couldn't from 18 years of age. So that is my goal currently.
Oh, fabulous piece. I think for everyone who is looking to, maybe the word sounds very fancy, which is fire, but I think the realistic approach towards achieving your dream retirement is, I think, this, where you have a roadmap given by a financial planner, where you keep at it. Definitely at some point in time you can achieve your dream retirement. Great. I think thanks a lot for sharing this, and there cannot be a better end where we tell to our audience that there is a realistic way to achieve your dream retirement, and you are the testament of that. Thanks a lot, and prosperous life ahead. All the best for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.